Hey guys, it's Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a push your luck adventure game about capturing monsters, and that game is called Monster Expedition. Monster Expedition is a game from Alexander Pfister, or Pfister, I'm not sure how to say his name, from Amigo Games. It plays 1 to 4 players in about, what's it say on here? Does it say? It doesn't have a time, but all the games I've played have been about 40-ish minutes. And what you're trying to do in this is effectively capture monsters. The way you're doing that is through a push your luck dice rolling mechanic, or mechanism. I know some people don't like to say mechanic. But the way that works is you're going to have these little camps that are going to tell you how many black dice you can roll plus the appropriate color of the camp, and you're trying to get enough value of dice in the certain color to capture a monster, or to get a cage monster, which is still worth points but worth less. So there's a little bit more to it, but that's the gist of the game. So let's go down to the table, check it out. All right, so here's a game of Monster Expedition, all set up for 2 players. To set up, you're going to give each player 1 set of these 3 camps. We have, let me say it right, the Enchanted Forest, the Depths, and the Airy. I don't know how to say it, but that's what they are. Everybody's going to be the same. They just have different numbers here, so you can kind of, just have 4 sets. Then you're going to put out the 6 starting cards, which are going to have this back. And this card is always going to be in the display. And the display is actually called the Wilderness. And then you're going to take, in a 2-player game, 27 cards out of this deck, put it here, flip 3 extra ones up here, so there are 10 cards in the Wilderness. Each player is going to have a crest of their own. So in this case, this player has this crest, that player has that crest over here, and then there's all the dice. What we're trying to do here is we are trying to roll dice to either capture monsters from the Wilderness or cage monsters, which are going to be worth the smaller amount of points at the end of the game. So we're trying to get the most points at the end of the game. If we capture them in front of us, we'll get the big number. If it's in the cage at the end of the game, we're going to get the little number. And I'll explain a little bit more about that as we go. So let's just go ahead and get started. This player will go first. On your turn, you're going to pick a camp that you want to go hunting in. So in this case, let's say, I don't know, let's just go in the Depths. So I'm going to go in the Depths. This is going to tell me I get to roll 2 black dice and the depth dice. So what I'm going to do, you normally roll it in the box. The box is really nice. I'm not going to do that just because it's crazy, but I wanted to show you that's what you do. So let's get these out of the way for a minute. I'm going to roll the dice. Now, when you roll, you pick one of the numbers and you set all of those, you bank them. So if there were multiple 6s, I could bank them. So I'm going to go ahead and bank the 6. Then I can roll again, or I can stop. Now, this time I had to bank a different number other than a 6. So I want to bank the 10. You can see that the breakdown of the dice up here, the black is a standard D6. The green, the blue, and the yellow are all going to be a little bit better. And by a little bit, I mean they go to 10. So now I can decide if I want to keep rolling or I want to stop. Right now I have a monster hunting ability or power of 16, but I could get higher. As long as I don't get a 6, I'm good. Let's roll. 2. So now I have an 18. So that is what I'm looking at. So here's what happens next. Now what happens is you're going to take this ability, you're going to take this power, and you're going to try to capture a blue monster, or a monster that would have multiple colors in this area, which there aren't any out. So I can capture either of these. So let's see, I have 18. Let's capture this one, just because it's bigger. So then I'm going to take it and put it in front of me. This monster is going to be worth 1 point at the end of the game, and if I can get a green face and a yellow face, see the blue face right here, I can then roll an extra die on my turn. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this camp. In the middle there's a 2. If I banked a 2 or multiple numbers of 2, I can spin this to make this better. So I did bank a 2, so I'll spin this. Like that. And now next time I use it, it'll be worth 3 black and 1 blue. Now over here, you can also see on this die there's one where it has players and an 8. What that means is if anybody rolls an 8, I can turn this one even if I'm not using it. Same with this guy over here. If anybody rolls a 10, he can spin it, so he's going to go ahead and do that. And he'll spin this one right there. So that is how you take a turn. We don't refill. I'll get to that in a little bit. So now it's this player's turn. So they are going to try to capture a monster as well. Let's see. they're going to start with yellow. So they'll do 2 blacks and a yellow. Airy. So they roll. They have 2 6s. So they're going to keep the 6s. The yellow die is a little hard to see, but that's fine. They roll again. Oh, so when you roll a 6, that's called a miss throw, because you can't bank a different number, so you have to discard one of your highest dice. If there's multiples, you just get rid of one. So that's basically making your hunting value less. Then you're going to roll again if you want to. And I have an 8. So I have an 8 hunting value. So I can look down here, yellow, see if there's an 8. There isn't. You can always buy a cage for 10. You can see the 10 up there, but I don't have 10. So therefore, on my turn, I cannot do anything. But I can look at this, see if I rolled the appropriate number. I did not, so nothing happens. So that was basically a wasted turn. Now back to this player. I'm trying to go till I can refill and show you kind of what happens. Let's see. Let's do some green. So we're going to go into the Enchanted Forest with 2 blacks and a green. And we'll keep the 7 because there's no possibility of busting with that, with these. A 5. Come on, don't roll a 5. Yes. All right, so I have 12, 14 green. So let's see, let's capture this one. So now I have a blue and a green mask. Symbiotic symbol is what it actually is. And I'm 1 card away from getting my full monster, or an extra die. Did I roll any 3s? I did not, so that does not spin. Nobody rolled a 10, so they're done. All right, so that's back to this player. They're gonna keep going. And they're gonna go blue because they get to roll more dice. So they get to roll 3 black and a blue. But keep the 10, because why not? Ooh, 4. Okay, no 4, no 4, come on. 5. Ooh. I'm gonna stop. So I'll show you why. So I have 19. So here's a 9 blue that I'm gonna purchase. Again, it just gives me a face, so once I get all 3. Then I have a 10 left, I'm gonna buy a cage. So now, let's show you what happens. This will refill once you get a cage. You either buy a cage, you steal a cage from somebody, or some other effect gives you a cage. So when you get a cage, you're gonna refill the wilderness, and here's what happens. So I refill, then I get to put one of my crests on this, and I'll explain what that does in a second. So everything that comes out into the wilderness when I refill, because I got a cage, gets a crest. Now, what happens here? During the game, nothing effectively happens. But if these crests are on these cards at the end of the game, I will take the card and I cage it, and I get the cage points for it. So you're trying to get as much as your crest out there to make the opponent capture those monsters to keep you from getting those cards. Now we're going to look down here. They rolled a 10, so this will spin. They didn't roll anything else, so that's it. And once this reaches all the way around, you'll flip it, and it's going to keep getting higher. You can see it goes all the way up to 6. Once you get past a certain threshold, you get some free cages. And that's that. And then it'd be back to this player's turn. And that's how the game is going to keep playing until all of these cards of this deck are gone, and that's going to trigger the last round. So if this player makes the deck run out, that's what this reserve pile of cards here is for. Then this player would get to keep taking their turn, play as normal, and at the end of their turn, at the end of the round, the game will be over. You score points for all of your monsters here that are not in cages, and all of your cage monsters. That's it. So, you know, there's some opportunities to steal cages to get more points. You're just trying to be the best at capturing monsters as you can. And some of the monsters are going to give you special abilities to help you get other cages, all that. There's also this card that never comes out of the wilderness, but if you have 50 hunting value, you can use this card to get 6 cages, and that's pretty crazy. So, yeah, I've played a lot of games and I've never done that because I can't roll for crap. But yeah, that's effectively how the game plays. So that is Monster Expedition. Let's go to the top, see what you think about it. All right, well, that was Monster Expedition. First off, I'm super surprised by this game. I had no idea what it was. Amigo contacted me and said, hey, we want to send you a game. I said, okay, cool. And then they said it was Alexander Fischer. I was like, oh, even better. You know, Mombasa, Blackout Hong Kong, Broom Service, just to name a few. And I was like, oh, well, shoot, I like his games. Let's try it. So they send it, and it's in this little tiny box. This little tiny box right here with a little monster. It looks like it's in the Carnival of Monsters line because it is. So that's why it looks like that. So I was like, I don't know what this game is. I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's like monsters. What is this? And then I read the rule book. Oh, and I realized it was push your luck dice rolling, and I was hooked. So like you saw in the overview, you're trying to roll these dice, which are, you know, standard D6s, but all the colors have a different breakdown of numbers. And you're trying to, every time you roll, you can't roll the same number that you have in the bank. So if I bank 6s and I have another die, only a D6, and I roll a 6, I lose my high number, and it's just, you know, it's making my hunting value go down. So you're trying to get as high as you can with the dice that you have without trying to get too crazy and causing yourself to lose a whole bunch of value. Because like I showed you, you can get a 40 6-cage monsters, you know, that could be like 10, 12, 15 points. That's insane. So that whole mechanism is just amazing. And then the camps, where, you know, as the camps get stronger, you're rolling more dice. You know, it can go all the way up to 6 black and the color of the camp. That is insane. Like, that is, once you get that and, you know, you get that set of 3 masks like I was showing you, you can roll 8 dice, because the most you can ever roll on your turn is 8. It's crazy how high you're going to get. But the more dice you have, the more chance you have of busting, which normally happens with me because I'm terrible at rolling dice. I like the art on the game as well. It's just crazy, silly little monsters with crazy names like Dark Glider. My daughter really likes this little weird snail. I don't know why, but she enjoys it. This little fox is cute. Just the art is really adorable. The dice are nice quality. Everything's really easy to see on the cards. All the iconography makes perfect sense. These crests are nice, thick cardboard. They're all very easy to tell apart from each other. They're different shapes and different colors, so there's no issue there. I don't have much negative to say about this game. Even the faces on these masks are all different. So if you are colorblind and you can't tell the colors that well, they have different faces. So that is awesome. Everything about this game is amazing. I'm so surprised by this. Knew nothing about it. But when I played it, I'm so glad that I played it, because it is amazing. It's so good. I love push your luck. I mean, this isn't like super deep push your luck, but the dice can get kind of tense. You know, I was playing multiple times with my youngest because she was playing. She wasn't really doing a lot of the card stuff, so I was helping her. But she was rolling, and I would get like 8 points because I keep busting and mis-throwing my dice, and it's just terrible. Couldn't do anything on my turn except maybe spin my camp. It was awful, because you need basically, you know, some of the cards are 8, but if you're throwing the wrong color, then you're not going to be able to get that card. You need at least a 10 to get a cage. It's tricky. So yeah, everything about this game is great. Pfister's a great designer. I like most of his games that I've played, the ones that I mentioned, and this one I think are the ones that I've played. Maybe there's another one in there, but I am not sure. So I'm going to give this a BGM accepted seal. It's going to get a pretty good score. It's going to get an 8.5 out of 10, which is, let me do my math, 4.25 out of 5 wrenches on our arbitrary wrench scale. That means absolutely nothing, but we like to give it the games that we enjoy, and I definitely enjoy this one. Super good. If you can find it and you like push your luck, you like adventure games, this might be one you want to check out. It's not super adventure-y, but I think it's adventure-y enough that even if you didn't like the push your luck, you may still enjoy this. So that's Monster Expedition from Amigo. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.